if you want to be in that, the natural listings below the ads, you have to have age. Google wants to see that you've been around for a while, that you're trusted, that they have data on you. When people go to your website, how long do they stay there? What do they click on? How many pages do they look at? Google tracks all of this. Welcome back to the Home Guys Real Estate Show with Jaden
and James here. We're going to talk about real estate and whatever else comes out of our mouth. How's it going, Jaden?
Sounds great. So it's going pretty great.
I'm just wondering,
in Florida.
I have a sweatshirt on, so
less beautiful where you're at.
Yeah. No, it's actually gorgeous out, to be honest with you. I'm going to try to go play pickleball today. Yes, people, I play pickleball. And I'm not 80, but
everyone else does too.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Actually, I learned pickleball before it became really extra popular. So I was before the trend, just so you know.
You started it.
Well, I'm not gonna go that far, but definitely like my pickleball. Let's talk about what we've done in the past week and a half. I guess I'll start off because I actually was in Dallas. You guys probably listened to our past podcast. We were in Indianapolis. I came back for a day and went back to Investor Fuel Live is what it's called, Jaden. It's our group that we're with tries to get more people to join. It's Investor Fuel. And so I actually got up and spoke. If you guys all know me, I know it sounds like, it's been a fear of mine, Jaden. And for whatever reason, I've been feeling good. I want to get up and do more. I don't know why. Who ever actually says that? Have you ever met anybody?
You've been pushing yourself for a couple of years to try to get up and speak more. It's really been impressive to watch you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And that was one of the things that I figured if I just keep talking about it, I'm going to have to get up there. I can't tell people I'm speaking.
You just forced yourself to do it.
I did. And that's truly what it has to happen. So the Investor Fuel group, that's who helped push me in to do this. So yeah. I'm really thankful for Mike and the group that we're with.
Well, it helps to start out in a room full of peers that are supportive of you, in a safe environment. That's how the Toastmasters, works, is you start out in a supportive group of peers and you get some practice under your belt, and then you go do a bigger event where you don't know the people in the room.
That's pretty good. I didn't get too emotional when I talked about Iraq. I did get a little bit because when I talk about my family, my why, it 100% brings me back to, literally, guys, I went overseas at one time to make sure that I provided for my family. Got the poop scared out of me a couple times. I'm just a better person for it, to be honest with you, at the end of the day. I don't know if that makes sense, but just some of the stuff that I've been through and seen as a firefighter from being overseas. I didn't carry a gun. I carried a hose. I actually volunteered. That's what people are like kind of freaked out. Really? You actually volunteered? Yes. I volunteered. So one of these days I'll get into the depth of the story, or maybe I'll just do a podcast by myself where I give a little bit more of a details oriented on the story of Iraq and Afghanistan, because there's definitely a lot of adventures that I've done in there. So anywho, Investor Fuel Live, I got up there and was able to speak, and I think they signed up a few more people to be in our group going back to Dallas in another week and a half. In fact, I'm actually going to another group next week. Bill Allen, you've heard of him.
Yeah.
I think they're mostly out of Baltimore or San Diego. He's a fighter pilot. I don't know if he's still doing that or not, but he fell into the real estate and he knew that he was going to be done with the military. And again, a good group. I'll find out more about them, but they're meeting in Spring Hill, Tennessee, I believe the 29th, 30th, something like that. The first. I'm actually pretty excited about that, heading there.
Cool.
So other than that, got the Knoxville guys are doing really good. I just talked to them, just got off the phone with them actually. Honestly, they're feeling overwhelmed, Jaden, which is kind of cool. They're 100% exactly where we were at. Yep. They just called me up and said, hey, Jaden, or not Jaden, hey, James, when should we hire our first acquisition person? And I'm like, if you're asking, it's probably ready. Well, they're Brad. They have a Brad too that is part of the Knoxville guys. And we talk about our Brad. Brad was one of our very first hires. And I told him, I think you're going to need to bring on somebody probably now and start training them, so you can relieve yourself of a lot of this constant, let them strictly do follow-up and do appointments. And then you worry about all the stuff on the back end. Right now, you're worried about everything.
Yeah. Well, we had our first two people were an office admin person, and then the second hire was a inside sales that answered the phone. Because as you start getting these deals in the door, they just generate a lot of paper. When you're buying properties, it generates a lot of paperwork.
Right.
A lot of paperwork. And unless you're a paperwork person, which me and James are not, you're going to need someone to handle the paperwork. Otherwise, it'll get really chaotic and disorganized very quickly. So we hired James's wife come in and help us with paperwork and bookkeeping and things like that, and then bill paying. Then we hired a second person to answer the phone and just take the leads basically and follow up with people.
So Jaden, they're falling right in line with exactly what we've done, because they're answering the phones as one of their team members, right? Because there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
And so that would kind of fall into our category too. They're literally at that point now where they need to hire an acquisitions person. I think they have 6, 7 deals in the hopper now.
Yeah, and they're getting enough appointments where they need an acquisitions person. If you're getting more than 5 appointments a week, you need to get somebody that's just doing acquisitions. Because we've found over the years that our acquisitions people can hire, one person can handle 5 appointments a week is about what they can really take on and not start dropping balls. And
right, guys, we got to remember that. Let's stop right there for a second.
Yeah,
it's 5 appointments a week. And everyone goes, oh, I could do more. Of course you can do more in the beginning, guys. But now you have 5 new appointments, but then you should have 30 follow-ups. I believe that you should have only about 50 in your hopper to really, really manage each one. Because I would say we didn't do a good job on follow-up. If we didn't get it within the first couple face-to-face in the very beginning, we left it alone and moved to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then we actually have this campaign that we put out, guys, called No Lead Left Behind. And we do a way better job of following up on our leads now than we did in the very beginning. But I'm trying to tell everybody, if you're going to do this, you have to have a very, very good follow-up system right from the start. Otherwise, you're throwing leads away.
Yeah. And your CRM system, your customer relationship management system, is really critical in managing follow-up. And managing everything related to the leads, all the actions that have been taken get documented in there. But what you said is really important, that, 5 new appointments a week. So in 10 weeks, 2.5 months, you will have done 50 appointments, and those 50 appointments will need to be followed up on. Some of those appointments turned to deals. And once they're deals, you've got to hold their hand to closing. So 1 week doesn't sound like that much, but it kind of compounds over time.
Right.
And it builds up. So you've got to keep it about 5 a week per person. It seems to be the sweet spot.
Yeah, that's what we do for our own team in Minnesota. It's 5 a week. And again, I know we can do more. You could probably do more, Jaden, if you had basically somebody that just did all your paperwork.
If you had an assistant that was helping the salespeople.
Yeah, but again, that's probably not in a real world. I just know a lot of people do a lot of appointments, and I still believe that because they don't hire another person, I think they're losing leads. They're losing. I shouldn't say they're losing leads. They're losing deals, right? It
also depends on, if you're in a market where leads are very inexpensive, go on 10 appointments a week or 15 or 20. It doesn't matter as much because your leads are cheap and you just get more leads. But in most major metros, leads are very expensive. So you've got to handle the leads with a lot of care and a lot of follow-up, and you've got to maximize every lead that comes in the door. And that's certainly true in Minneapolis. But if you happen to be in a market somewhere in the country that's not competitive and leads are very cheap, then it's not as important,
Right. Yeah, maybe that's the deal too. We're mostly belly to belly too. How do you think that comes into play with what we just said versus like virtual?
For virtual, I think virtual follow-up would be important too. But again, if you're getting really cheap leads, then is it cheaper to get one more new lead, or is it cheaper to follow up on an old lead that you already had?
Right.
For us, it's much cheaper to follow up on an old lead because it doesn't cost us hardly any money for someone to contact them. Getting a new lead is very expensive for us. But if you're doing virtual and you're getting very low-cost leads from whatever source it is, then it may not be as important to follow up.
Right. So the guys are doing good in Knoxville. We're going to try to either get them to come up to the Minnesota location to do some training. Maybe they're one of their main guys. I think he's getting a little burnt out a little bit, because I think he's so new. Some of the deals he's not getting. So I don't know if he's doing something wrong or how I can help tweak him. I remember when we first started, we got stuck in that spot where, what is it? Analysis by paralysis, or paralysis by analysis.
Paralysis.
Yeah. I think that's what Caleb was telling me, that Brad might be, overthinking some of it.
Yeah.
And you just have to go ask for the deal, right? That's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. So,
yeah,
guys are loving it still. I think it's getting to the point where Caleb is going in the same spot that I was. When do I quit my fire gig? I think I was very blessed. Oh, hey, I forgot to tell you that on that note, my old fire chief actually called me back and or texted me the other day, and he texted me I'll have to send you the text. It's my radio, my badge, everything. And it said last day. And so now I have proof of it. It says August 4th of 2017.
2017, yeah.
That was my last day. And now I have a picture to condemn. Hey, that's when I quit my W-2 job.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I didn't realize it. So he's I don't know why he kept it for for 7 years.
Yeah. Is he still there?
He actually left and went to Tennessee, worked down there for a few years, and now he's actually back at the same place where
Gotcha.
I'm at. He actually wanted to meet up last Friday, and I wasn't able to meet up because of where I was at and stuff too. So it's pretty cool, guys. Just imagine you're on a fire department, you're on a team, and all of a sudden I told the guys, I go, hey, by the way, I'm gonna move on to something different. I'm gonna get into real estate. I don't know anything about it, but this is what I'm gonna do. We already have 15. I think we only had 15 houses in the hopper at the time, but we saw the potential revenue, and I just said, all right, I'm quitting. I don't know if you remember this, but I actually gave it 6 weeks, Jaden. So I actually quit. I quit the last week in June, but I stayed on for another 6 weeks because they had some changes coming up, and I wasn't forced to work, to be honest with you. I was just more on payroll, but I stayed around for another 6 weeks. So it makes the story sound a little bit even more crazier, to be honest with you, that I actually, because you guys in the fire industry, you don't just quit, all right? You give your time and you work with the captain or the chief and, hey, how's this work? You're going to get a new guy. They got to bring him in. They got to train him.
They got to make sure they have coverage for your shifts, right? You can't just not have coverage.
Right. You can't just all of a sudden go, okay, see you later. You just don't get up and walk away, right? It's not how the industry works. So anyways, I thought that was kind of cool. Back on the home front, let's talk a little bit about that, where we're at with deals and how things are finally coming into spring. The springtime of things are actually moving.
Yeah.
Are you able to pull up the dashboard at all?
Yeah, I can pull it up here. You want me to share it on the screen?
I don't even know how to do that, but if you can
figure out how to present it, I'll probably share it on the screen. Or can you see that, James?
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
So this is just for the week that we're on right now. We're, halfway through Wednesday right now. So halfway through the week. Little low on appointments set right now for being halfway through the week. I suspect this will jump up, Thursday and Friday. We'll probably end at about 25 appointments set, I would guess. Like last week, we were getting close to 30. Mm-hmm. So it's really weather dependent in Minnesota too. If the weather changes, all of a sudden the appointments can drop a lot. So, and sometimes it can change for the better or change for the worse. Both can affect how we set appointments.
So it's going to be nice. We have a new CRM that's coming up, and it's called Pete.
Well, that's from Podio in Power BI.
Power BI, that's what we're talking about,
yeah. Yeah, so we're switching from Podio and Power BI to Pete.io.
Right. We should probably have Brad. I should call Brad and get him on really quick and see if he can. He signed 5 deals last week?
Yeah, somebody on Monday mentioned that. He signed 5 last week.
Brad signed 5 deals. Where the hell was Brad before? Why does it take him 7 years before he finds? No.
One of our sales guys signed 5 deals last week. I think this month last year, or maybe it was March of last year, we had 1 deal signed every day of the month.
Yep.
So the season's been starting off a little slower this year. Maybe it's the weather. Who knows?
We've been getting the quality of deals they've gotten better. We just haven't done as many. But I also believe that you guys, like Jaden was saying before, our area is weather permitted, right? So if we have a bunch of snow and it finally melts, everyone just goes nuts. They're like, we want to get the hell out of here.
The spring varies a lot. We can have a really busy March because the weather got nice in March or whatever. And I think last year maybe something like that happened. Or that really busy time can be pushed out into like late May because of the weather.
Right. So, and I think remember just from last year, we did 31 deals in 31 days. You guys, and then on April 1st, we had a snowstorm. And it wasn't an April Fool's joke at all. We had like 17 inches. We're like, what the hell? And then our phone stops ringing for 2 weeks because I don't know if people just go, we'll just wait till the snow melts before we have anybody over.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it picks up again. So it's really weird. I'd like to figure out that study a little bit more. I know a couple guys out in Detroit, Chicago, even Ohio that will say that it's a little weather permitted. It's up and down because of the weather.
The northern states, yeah.
The northern states, correct. Yeah. So yeah, that was exciting. Otherwise, everything seems to be moving pretty smooth. The team is all on board. Everybody's happy. I believe having a happy team is everything. You don't have drama when you have a happy team.
Yeah, and people have to enjoy their, where they work. I don't know if I said this in a previous video, but we're a small business and we have to compete with large corporations for people. And we can't offer the kind of benefits and stuff that large companies can offer, but we can offer a more fun environment and a place that people enjoy working in and they feel connected to the vision and the mission of the company. And that's something that big companies have a tough time offering.
Right. Of course, we don't want to give away the secret sauce, right? Unless you join the Home Guys, world. But talk a little bit about what we do for marketing and this possible new TV people that you talk to. Are they a national people, or I guess where did you?
Yeah. So we've been on TV since 2017. So what is that? 7-8 years or so. Yeah, we've been with a number of different agencies. We've tried different things, tried different videos, different creative content. And I just met with a company that does more national TV. They can do regional and stuff too, but they focus more on national. And they were talking about the price difference between national and like local and like just doing in Minnesota.
How did you find these people before we go?
They actually found me on LinkedIn. They found me on LinkedIn. They must have known we do TV and they just reached out. And they do a lot of work around the production of the videos and the creative content to make sure you've got the best possible, ads to play and build a story around the company.
Have they seen our commercial then? Or
yeah, they've watched our commercials.
Did you get any feedback from them? Did they give you anything?
Yeah. Basically, they're like, you guys are doing kind of a direct response, explainer video. Like, here's who we are, here's what we do. Give us a call, which is great. It's worked well for us for 7 years. They do a little bit more on the story to try to tell a story that people remember and connect with emotionally. But that takes a lot more work and resources to do that. So that's kind of where they focus. But then also, like I said, they focus more on national efforts because they can get, our cost per ad in Minnesota, they can buy for about 1/10 the cost.
Right.
If they buy it nationally. So that causes a lot of questions for us. Is like, okay, well, what do we do? How do we deal with all these national leads? Because they're going to be hitting every major metro in the country. So we'd have to figure out a monetization strategy for the rest of the country, the cities. And is that us taking those phone calls? Probably not. It's probably a pay-per-lead kind of service where we're partnering with other people and other investors around the country to take the leads. So this is like real new. We haven't, spent any work on this. I just had this phone call. I thought it was interesting. So that's kind of where my mind is going. Like, man, it'd be nice to get leads for 1/10 the cost. That'd be pretty cool. So we have a lot to figure out to get there.
Right, it's 1/10 of the cost, but
But you're also getting leads in areas that you don't currently operate.
Right, that's where I was.
But at the end of the day, like, do we understand how to monetize leads in other markets? Yeah, we do. It's probably not something that we're quite, this year going to do, but maybe as we add some licensees in different locations. They did say once you get into, you're doing, say, 4 cities, that it's actually less expensive, at 4 or 5 cities to just advertise nationally and hit all those cities. You're going to get the same price essentially, but you're going to get a lot more leads in other cities that you could monetize in other ways.
Right.
That sounds pretty neat. It's a neat opportunity.
Here's the deal, Jaden. Right now, it's like I don't want to say anything because I don't want to give our ideas away on this podcast. Don't get me wrong, people out there. It's like, of course, I'm a visionary, so I see stuff, and I'm like, the problem is how do I try to get everybody to articulate what I'm seeing in my vision, so everybody can see the same. I mean, I know you have a really good job of.
It's no small effort to do what I was just talking about, and it's no small amount of money. I mean, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars,
right?
And a back end system to deal with the influx of business. So he was saying that we could expect 43,000 leads from this national campaign, which is a ridiculous amount of leads. So we certainly can't handle that kind of volume with our current system. So it has to be a different system.
You know what? 72 Sold. I wonder if they're doing that. And
there's a lot of companies doing something like this. 72 Sold is on TV, so that might be kind of what they're doing then. Yeah, probably is.
I mean, because I think they're teaming up with Remax down there, aren't they?
Are they national? Advertising national? Oh,
that's why. Because they're here, they're in Arizona, and they talk about 100% the whole United States. How they have the different people that are popping up everywhere. Because all it is it's a latch on for like a Remax or a Coldwell Banker. I think it's Remax is what they teamed up with.
Oh, well, there you go. If you partner with a brokerage that's across the entire country, you cover all the markets automatically.
Right.
Yeah. But the thing for them is they're more of a realtor broker focused brand, and we're an investor-focused brand. Are there investor groups that cover the entire country? The Ugly Houses company used to. I don't know that they do anymore. And who else is there? I mean, there's a couple other companies that are not, they don't cover the whole country. They might cover a quarter of the cities, maybe.
Oh, you're talking about, okay. They're more regional. Like
if you wanted to find out like a Remax or a Coldwell
Northwest.
Banker in real estate investing, what would that be? Doesn't exist that I'm aware of.
Right. I see what you're saying. Those are typically individual people that have investors friendly.
Yeah. But the We Buy Ugly Houses company would be the closest thing to that, but they're really been in decline and they do their own thing. They wouldn't want to work with us on that.
Right.
We've got to find some way to scale nationally.
I would really like to dive in that a little bit more. Even our own people, even talking to Tony, because that could be something we could go even bigger.
That's actually working with a hedge fund that buys across the country could make sense. We could actually partner with a real estate brokerage if it was more open-minded real estate brokerage that had more of an investor mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Remax is it, but maybe EXP or one of these other guys,
Yeah, EXP does that hybrid agent. So it's for investors.
EXP does seem to be, there's a lot of investors that are with EXP. So that might be something for us to look into and talk to, the higher ups.
Yeah, again, EXP, Jaden, I'm not willing to give up even 10% of our funds just to get on the EXP.
Yeah, because that's the problem we've always had with it is, we use discount brokers where we pay flat fees of $500 or whatever.
Right.
And EXP's model is more like a 70-30, I think, or something like that, where...
Again, I think we could get them to go a little bit more. And, maybe it's a sit down and we're talking to somebody because you're still getting $500 per transaction. In fact, now our brokerage actually gets $250 every transaction, even if it's a wholesale deal.
The problem with EXP is they've got to pay the downline, right? So you can't get them down to a flat fee. Their model doesn't work like that.
Correct.
They have to take those extra fees from you to pay the downline. You're like, well, why? We don't want to pay extra fees. We don't want to do that. So,
well, again, yeah, we're reselling guys at least 100, 125 homes a year, right?
Yeah, I mean, $100 or $200 on every transaction matters for us. So,
right. And
you're talking EXP, you're talking about thousands of dollars.
Right. There's no way we're ever giving any of that up.
Right. I think you're right about that. So anyway, we've got to think some more about the national strategy and how we would do that. But I think it's a cool thing to start thinking about. And he was asking me a lot of questions on the phone call, about the national strategy. And I was like, well, I have honestly not even thought about this because I was thinking more like as we expand to markets, we're just going to advertise in that market. And I hadn't really thought through a national strategy because I didn't know anything about it. And now I do. So this is really interesting information.
Right.
We've been doing a lot with SEO for our Minnesota company and also for our national website, homeguys.com. So we have homeguysmn.com and then we have homeguys.com. Homeguys.com is the national website that has individual cities subnested under it. And the whole point of that is to drive all the SEO, Google juice, or whatever you want to call it, to that one domain. So all the different power from all the different cities will be driven to homeguys.com. So everybody shares in the benefits of that.
Well, let's just use the Knoxville Home Guys. Like, what advantage do they have by buying a licensing agreement with us on the SEO side? You know more about that. I just like to say it like
sure.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, SEO is search engine optimization is what SEO means. And really what it comes down to is when somebody types in Google, sell my house fast, or find me a real estate investor, or cash offer for house, or whatever, something like that, where does your website pop up in the natural search results, not in the ads? So when you scroll by all the ads, there's links to websites that could be helpful for your search term. And where does yours pop up in that list? Is it 1, 2? Is it even on the first page? Is it anywhere on there at all? And most people's websites don't show up at all anywhere on the first page. They're probably on page 10 or 12 or 15 or whatever. We started doing SEO back in 2016, actually, and hiring professional companies to do it for us, not me doing it myself. So we've been hiring professional companies since 2016 to build backlinks, to write blog articles, to post videos, to optimize our web page. And we have that domain age. So domain age is a key factor in how you rank. So Google will look at you and go, did you just launch your website this year? If you're new this year, you're not going to be on the first page. There's just pretty much no way around that. You're not going to make the first page.
Can you buy your way up to the first page, or is that the advertising?
Not quickly. You can do it through advertising, but a lot of people won't click on advertising. Like the majority of people scroll past the ads.
Why do we do that? Do we do no?
Well,
Screw these guys.
because we know that somebody paid for those ads. We want to have the real meat. We don't want to, click on
Okay,
ads.
yeah, I was just because everybody does it.
Sometimes I actually will click on ads on purpose because I want to go to, the website of someone that's paying for me to see that ad, depending on what I'm trying to do. But I understand Google better than most people, and a lot of people won't even click on ads.
Right.
So if you want to be in that, the natural listings below the ads, you have to have age. Google wants to see that you've been around for a while, that you're trusted, that they have data on you. When people go to your website, how long do they stay there? What do they click on? How many pages do they look at? Google tracks all of this. And the longer people stay at your website, the more people that go there, the more links they click around on your website, the better Google says, hey, I sent them there and they were there for 5 minutes. That was good. Like, that was a good place for me to send them. Or did I send them there and they bounced? It's called a bounce. They were there for 5 seconds and clicked out, went back. So if that's happening, then you're not going to rank well with Google. So anyway, we have, 8 years now of Google data where Google's seen our website. They've seen traffic go to it. We've built the brand through TV and digital marketing. It's a very well-known brand. So when people come to our website, they're less likely to bounce, especially if somebody just, is searching sell my house fast as is cash and they're in Minnesota.
Right.
They search that. They see our natural list to come up. Minnesota Home Guys. Oh, I've heard of those guys. Click on it. They're less likely to go, I don't know what this is, and bounce. They're more likely to go, I'm going to learn more about these guys because I've heard of them. I've seen their TV commercials. I've heard their radio ads, whatever. I'm going to click on the website, see who they are. And our number one most visited page on the website is the About Us page. So people go to the main page, and then they're like, who are these guys? Go to the About Us, and then we have bios on there and pictures of everybody on our team. And that's the page that people go to. And when people call us, they tell us, hey, I read this about you or read this about this person or whatever, and I connected with this. And that tells you they're spending time on your webpage, which is what Google wants to see.
Right.
So we've been developing that out, plus all the backlinking and all the blog articles and everything else that goes into SEO for 8 years. So we rank very high. We're number 1 and 2 for a lot of keywords. And I'm going to pull this up here. 1 second. Let me know if you can see this. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Cool. So this is up through April 24th, it looks like. So like Buy My House, we are ranked number 1 for this location, which is...
Hey, we're not giving anything away by doing this, are we?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Not that I can think of. So Buy My House, this is just like the common keywords that people would be searching for to try to find an investor.
Right.
And then in our area, right? So this is in Minnesota. So we're ranking 1 and 2 on a lot of these keywords. And, initial rank, this was years ago. We were 100. This might have been a year or 2 or 3 ago. We're moving up in the ranks, and they focus on different keywords. Once they get these ones high, then they'll go work on other keywords.
Oh, okay.
So the cool thing with this stuff is once you're there, you're not spending more money to get that traffic. You're just going to get the traffic for free, basically.
So
it just costs a lot of money to get there in the first place is the problem. So
right.
So 8 years and at this point, probably over $1 million on SEO.
So who signs up with us and signs up with Home Guys, you're not getting that first year status quo. You're getting 8 year status quo.
Right. You're getting 8 year status quo, 8 years of a lot of spending and a lot of investment and a lot of time.
And again, I want people to understand, like, that's huge. That is what you're getting is very valuable. In my opinion,
you're also
I guess I want your feedback on like how much valuable is that compared to, hey, I'm going to just go get a carrot site and start fresh.
Right. There's a lot of value. I think there's a lot of value in different ways to it, but one factor you can think about is like, okay, if you go get a carrot site, come up with a new name, like, Bill buys houses in Kentucky, whatever it is. This is what a lot of people do. This is very common. Go get an investor carrot website and do that. Well, your website is the exact same template as like thousands of other people that are out there doing this too. Your company name is unrecognized by Google or any search engine. It's brand new. Google could see that your website is brand new. And Google also understands that that's a template website from Investor Carrot. Like Google is smart. It knows all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So you're just going to start, and I'm not saying that you can't get some ranking eventually doing that. You can.
It just takes time, right?
Brand. You can build your brand from scratch. You can invest in SEO. You can do all this stuff. You're starting from zero, and it's going to take you years and lots of money. Certainly is possible, but the other option is to just partner with a company like ours that's already done all of this. Google already knows Home Guys, already recognizes the name and the website. It has an 8 year domain age. It has authority with Google. Google trusts the website, trusts the brand. So you're just acquiring all of that on day one, out of the gates. You're not having to wait and build all of that over years. And we're constantly building on this. This isn't something we just sit on. Like, we're investing more in SEO now than we ever have, and we'll continue to. So it just keeps getting better over time.
Right.
But the cool thing is that you're starting off not at ground zero, because ground zero is not a fun place to start off at, honestly.
Well, right. I just want to make sure that we're showing some value. Again, we're going to start doing little segments. You know, we have an analyzer that we actually have on our phone that we had made, 6-7 years ago.
7 years ago, yeah.
And it brings tremendous value. And I think what we'll have to do is probably do like a quick, bring it up on your screen, Jaden, and kind of show everybody what you're actually getting. Just basically, guys, we want to show you everything you're getting in a box, right? We want to make sure you have value at the end. We want to basically help you build your business without having to worry about trying to reinvent the wheel.
You don't want to have to guess at how to do everything, how to figure everything out from scratch and come up with everything on your own. It's a lot to figure out. We did it. I mean, 7-8 years ago. I'm not sure there was any place we could have gone to get it. You know, if there was, we would have done that. Now we've done all of it, figured it all out, you know, everything. Like, how do you answer the phone? How do you talk to a seller? What do you say to the seller? How do you run a sales appointment? How do you stand? What do you wear? What do your direct mail pieces look like? How do you manage the branding? How do you manage the website? All of this stuff. It's all of these details. How do you run the phone system? You know,
Gene, we have SOPs on where to stand and where to park when you arrive to a house.
All these things are important.
Right. And then that's what I'm trying to get is we've done all of that. Again, if anybody wants to reach out and talk a little bit more about that, feel free to email Jaden or myself. Hey, guys, I actually have to go. I just totally realized I have another podcast that I have to jump on.
I got to go too, actually.
About 10 minutes. So I wanted to talk more about media stuff, but I think we can save that for next time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate it, Jaden. Thanks for another awesome week on the Home Guys podcast. You guys, we'll see you next week, and hopefully I'll have some more info about maybe Knoxville guys. We'll talk maybe a little bit more about our advertising and some more of the stuff that we do and what works for us also. So you guys have a great week. Talk to you next time.
See ya.